Aloha to all out there in the Hawaiian Islands. I am Juliet Butters-Doty, evolutionary astrologer, streaming to you today from Makaku, Maui in Kahului. Well, here we are now in September, already launched into eclipse season for sure, and we're kicked off on the first day of the month with Saturn ingressing into Pisces, triggering yet again the world axis degrees of endings and beginnings. Timing of all kinds, dissolution, creativity, and the expansion of consciousness. Our faith and trust with ourselves and the life force power of the universe, together with a deepening spiritual practice, is further encouraged. September 2nd, Mercury steps into Virgo, igniting the new moon degree 2 weeks ago, all over again. By the way, Mercury will move into Libra by the 18th of the month, as Mercury is moving at quite the pace now, spending 2.5 weeks in a sign at this point. Also on the 2nd of September, Sedna, the goddess of metamorphosis, stations retrograde, sitting right next to Uranus. So that's a powerful day. September the 3rd, Mars squares off to Uranus, prompting disruption and breakthroughs. September the 6th, Uranus stations retrograde, adding to the harmonics of revolution, change, seismic events, and extreme weather. And then we finally get to September 7th, and we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, heralding all things Pisces, which I will get into shortly. Together with all of this happening, we also have Pluto moving out of bounds for the next few months. So what actually does this mean? Planets have a declination measurement in relation to the sun, and at times a planet will move beyond the 23.47 degree mark, classifying it as out of bounds, either north or south of the ecliptic. In this case, Pluto will be out of bounds to the south. And when this happens, the behavior of Pluto will be extreme, somewhat erratic, and out of control. And so we're going to be looking at revolution, collapse, and reformation, and very pivotal empire-changing movements. Pluto made this move August 28th, just a couple of weeks ago, or less than that, and will do so during the latter months of each year from now until 2035. So that's 10 years. So what is really stunning about this is that it will be the last Pluto southern out of bounds for thousands of years due to the Earth's axial tilt shift. And to quote Ang Stoic, who's an astrologer from Melbourne, Australia, in reference to the effect for all of us, quote, "It's like a final fault line opening up alongside rare cosmic alignments that we've been going through over the last months that will succeed to cause a systemic rupture not seen in hundreds of years. It will be the last systemic collapse cycle of its kind in the lifetime of modern civilization." So that's pretty big stuff. So here we go. So also of note, all planets out from Jupiter are retrograde for the next couple of months. So we will all be feeling the remix and rehashing energy that it promotes. Yet it is important, as we all need to deeply reflect on just who are we now. We are not the same person that we were 6 months ago. A lot has happened this year. and it's still pushing and pulling, transforming us all, urging us to let go, surrender, and allow. And so eclipses in general herald change, a reclamation, a switching of gears, endings and beginnings. And this eclipse in Pisces, which happens to be the sign that the karmic node of the collective destiny is in, and the full moon sits right next to the north node in Pisces itself. So it's a big deal. The ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is retrograde, and he is at 1 degree of Aries, which is on the world axis, and is conjunct, sitting right next to the retrograde Saturn, who just moved across the world axis degrees back into Pisces, still on a world axis degrees. So it's kind of power-packed, full of all things Pisces, so there's a lot of dissolution, and simultaneously the whole affair of the moon next to the north node is balsamic. It's called a balsamic phase of Neptune to the north node and the moon, meaning we are finishing up something in our lives. Something is coming to an end. So it's a serious tone, therefore, that's being emitted, saturating the energetics of this eclipse with a karmic resonance that is insistent for us to feel more deeply into our bones, really deep, regarding what do we truly yearn for? What are we responsible for? What deeper meaning can we express into our lives, and just what stands in the way of fulfilling that? So the dissolution effect assists us to surrender, to attune to nature, which then spurs on the connection into consciousness, which is what Pisces is really all about, the quantum field, which ultimately is everything after all. So where have we identified a part of ourselves to something that is not of our true essence, that is not coming from that still point within? Any place within our being where we have done so, where we have identified, adds a constricting limitation that restrains freedom for the soul's true purpose to flow. So be ready for absolutely anything at this point. Keep your discerning mind close to the pulse. Feel what is in alignment with your world and what is not. It may be different from your brother, your sister, or your friends. Jupiter extends during this eclipse chart, extends a lovely hand to encourage us all to deepen our level of nourishment towards ourselves and others. He trines, meaning giving full flowing support to the full eclipsed moon and the north node sitting closely together. So Jupiter is about expansion. So where Jupiter is transiting in your chart will enlighten just where the expansion of nourishment of yourself is needed. We've been through a lot this year, so it's time to give ourselves that loving hand that we all need. We all want to feel more safe and secure within ourselves. If you can't give it to yourself, who will? So it's time for you. So thankfully, there is also tremendous support coming from the goddess Chariklo. And you can see her here, Chiron's wife. And she impulses us with a beautiful influx of streamlined internal posture, as I like to call it, for us only to go inwards to harness. Chiron, too, encourages bravery, to own our own inner magnificence. The goddess Hygeia instills healing of the pure self so that the core of our being falls into greater balance. Hygeia helps us to tap the reservoir of our pre-existing resources that we came in with, and so she assists the healing intelligence of the body. So there's a trusting quality inherent here to let go and allow the body to flow with its innate knowing, awakening that which may have been dormant. So these eclipses, there'll be another one in 2 weeks on the 21st of September. They both echo out over a 6-month period. So it's not just all of this is going to happen on the day of. It takes time, but it also heralds great change. So it affects much. So use this time to dive deeply within, to strengthen your relationship with your true essence. We're all riding waves of enormous change now, and we know not where we will land. So the only thing that really counts is that still point within. We are truly blessed to live here in Hawaii, to be graced with the softness of our oceans and the caress of the wind with the trade winds in the trees. So use this time to know and feel your pulsation with your Creator beating within you. Wherever you are, you can tune in and feel it. So our next lunation, as I said, is on September 21st, also within 24 hours to the fall equinox, where time stands somewhat still for a little bit. We will experience a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo, and yes, that will be the second new moon in Virgo in a month cycle, but it will be at 29 degrees, so it'll have a whole nother emanation, shall we say. So, and it will be a strong one, but in a very different way. So use this time to dissolve, to prune away that which is not in alignment with your regime, with your soul's health and your heart of hearts. So until then, everyone out there, a hui ho.